Imagine falling for someone, head over heels, can't stop smiling kind of love, only to find out they've been living a lie. Crazy, right? Elena loved Dante without a clue about his secret life, a hidden billionaire hiding behind a regular guy's smile. Here's the wild part, you think you'd see it coming, but no one expected the shock of his double life drama. Betrayal stings, secrets shatter, yet somehow, love fights back, messy, real, and raw. Want to know how she went from bliss to heartbreak to something stronger? Stick around, you won't believe what unfolds when unveiling the truth flips everything you thought you knew about love versus wealth. She'd spilled her coffee all over the sidewalk, talk about a shock. Elena Reddington was juggling her phone, a bagel, and her sanity when, out of nowhere, a stranger swooped in to help. He didn't flinch at the mess, just handed her a napkin with a grin that said, "I've got you." She didn't know it then, but this wasn't just a clumsy moment, it was the start of an unexpected romance. Who was this guy? Well, you won't believe how that little spill would turn her world upside down. It wasn't like Elena was looking for a lesson in fate that morning. She was late, stressed, and honestly, a bit annoyed at the universe. But there he was, all calm and collected, picking up her cup like it was no big deal. Something about him felt different. Call it a hunch, but behind those kind eyes, there was a secret life brewing, something no one expected. She brushed it off, thanked him, and figured that was that. The streets were buzzing as usual, but for Elena, time slowed down just a bit. He introduced himself, "Dante," he said, simple and smooth. She couldn't help but notice how he moved, like he owned the chaos around them without even trying. It was a hidden billionaire vibe, though she'd never guess it then. She laughed to herself, deceptive appearances much. Little did she know, this chance encounter was about to unravel a double-life drama. Ever had one of those moments where life feels like a movie? That's what Elena felt as they chatted over the spilled coffee. He asked her name, and she fumbled it out, nerves, maybe. But there was a spark, a heartfelt connection she couldn't shake. It's funny how the smallest things, like a stranger's smile, can hint at secrets that bind. She walked away thinking, nice guy, cute story, blissfully unaware of the storm ahead. Now, let's be real, Elena wasn't new to surprises. She'd learned the hard way that life loves throwing curveballs. Remember that time she missed a job interview because her car broke down? Yeah, she laughed about it later. But meeting Dante? This was next level, unveiling the truth. She didn't see the love versus wealth battle coming, not yet. All she knew was she'd met someone who made her day a little brighter. Here's a tip, next time you're out there, scrambling through your routine, keep an eye out. You never know who's about to crash into your story, maybe not with coffee, but with something just as messy. Elena didn't expect Dante to stick in her mind, but he did. Was it his charm or something deeper, like unmasking desires she didn't even know she had? The plot was thickening, and she didn't have a clue. They parted ways with a casual, "see you around," but Elena couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the end. She replayed it in her head, his laugh, the way he didn't judge her klutz moment. What was it about him? A love without secrets seemed possible, but oh, how wrong she was. Behind closed doors, Dante's world was spinning, and she just stepped into the first chapter of something wild. Got it. You're giving me the green light to keep rolling, and I'm all in for it. I'll keep crafting each topic, one by one, following your directions to AT, 7 paragraphs, 6 lines each, packed with emotion, keywords, and those sneaky character mentions. If you want me to pause or tweak anything, just holler. Let's move on to Topico 2, the charismatic stranger. He charms her with his wit and warmth, but something feels off. Here we go. Elena couldn't stop thinking about that coffee spill, or the guy who turned it into a shock worth smiling about. A few days later, there he was again, popping up at her favorite bookstore like it was fate. Dante Rowe flashed that same easy grin, cracking a joke about her coffee-throwing skills. She laughed, harder than she meant to, and felt a rush of unexpected romance. But wait, what happens next? Something about him was too good to be true. He had this way of talking, like every word was a little gift just for her. Dante spun stories about random adventures, hiking trips, late-night drives, painting himself as a regular guy with a knack for fun. Elena was hooked, drawn into his warmth like a moth to a flame. Yet, deep down, a lesson whispered, deceptive appearances can hide a secret life. She ignored it, lost in his charm. Picture this, they're flipping through old novels, and he's quoting lines like he's some kind of poet. Elena's thinking, who is this guy? His wit was sharp, his vibe effortless, pure hidden billionaire energy, though she didn't clock it yet. It was a love without secrets kind of moment, or so she thought. But there was a flicker, something no one expected, like he was holding back a bigger story. Ever met someone who feels like a puzzle you can't quite solve? That was Dante for Elena. He'd dodge little questions, where he grew up, what he did for work, with a sly, oh, nothing exciting. She'd tease him back, but it nagged at her. Behind closed doors, there's always more, right? A double-life drama was brewing, and she was too smitten to see it. Here's a real-life nugget, people show you what they want you to see. Like that friend who's always fine, but never tells you the full scoop, Elena should have known better. Dante's charm was a mask, hiding secrets that bind. She felt a heartfelt connection, sure, but there was an edge, an unmasking desire's vibe she couldn't pin down. Doubt crept in, quiet but stubborn. They grabbed coffee, ironic, and he leaned in, all playful and attentive. Elena melted a little, caught up in falling for a stranger. But mid-sip, he got a call, stepped away, and his voice dropped low, too low. She caught a snippet, handle it, I'm busy. Busy with what? Unveiling the truth wasn't on her radar yet, but that call stuck with her. By the time they said goodbye, Elena was floating, and sinking. Dante's warmth was real, no doubt, but something felt off, like a song with a missing note. Was it love versus wealth playing tricks on her gut? She brushed it aside, chalking it up to her overthinking brain. Little did she know, the emotional betrayal clock was ticking, and she was about to get a front row seat. Alright, I'm keeping the train moving. Next up is Topico 3, living two lives, the glamorous world he hides from her is far from the life he shows. Here's the next chunk, buckle up. Elena was starting to feel like she'd stumbled into a shock she couldn't shake. Dante kept showing up, bookstores, cafes, even her usual park bench, and every time, he was the same laid-back guy. But you won't believe what she didn't see, the sleek cars, the penthouse views, the hidden billionaire life he tucked away. He played it so cool, she never suspected a thing. What happens next? Oh, it's a wild ride. He'd meet her in worn sneakers and a faded jacket, spinning tales of simple living. Meanwhile, across town, Dante Rowe was sipping champagne with tycoons, sealing deals she'd never dream of. It was a double-life drama straight out of a movie, one foot in her world, one in a secret life of glitz. No one expected this duality, least of all Elena, who was falling fast. Imagine juggling two realities like that, crazy, right? 1 minute, he's laughing over her burnt toast story, the next, he's dodging calls from assistants about private jets. Elena bought the act, charmed by his love without secrets facade. But behind closed doors, the truth was piling up, deceptive appearances in full swing. She was clueless, and he was a pro. Ever wonder how people hide whole chunks of themselves? It's like keeping a diary under lock and key. Dante's glamorous world had no room for Elena, not yet. He'd slip away from her, claiming errands, while she pictured him grabbing groceries. Instead, he was unveiling the truth to boardrooms, not her. Love versus wealth was his tightrope, and he walked it like a champ. Here's a tip, watch for the cracks. Elena didn't, too busy soaking in his heartfelt connection. If she'd paid attention, maybe she'd have caught the way his phone buzzed non-stop, or how he always had cash, no questions asked. Secrets that bind don't stay buried forever. She was in deep, hooked on a guy who was half a stranger. One night, they're stargazing, her idea, and he's all in, pointing out constellations. It's pure unexpected romance, and Elena's heart's doing flips. But then, a text lights up his screen, "Mr. Rowe, the gala's set." He flips it over fast, but she sees. Unmasking desire starts here, subtle but real. What's a gala to a guy like him? She wonders, but doesn't ask. The gap between his lives was widening, and Elena was still on the outside looking in. She'd joke about his mysterious side, and he'd laugh it off, classic Dante move. But the lesson was coming, a love built on lies can't stand forever. She was about to peek behind the curtain, and emotional betrayal was waiting in the wings. I'm on a roll now. Next is Topico 4, Secrets and Lies. Their relationship grows, but secrets threaten to unravel everything. Here it comes. Things were heating up for Elena, and not just because Dante knew how to make her blush. Their dates were a whirlwind, picnics, late-night talks, a shock of chemistry she couldn't deny. But you won't believe how fast secrets that bind can choke a good thing. Dante Rowe was still her charming stranger, but the hidden billionaire cracks were showing. What happens next? Trouble, that's what. They'd gotten closer, movie nights at her place, her teaching him to cook, disaster, by the way. Elena felt a heartfelt connection she hadn't known in years. He'd listen, really listen, like she was the only one in his world. But behind closed doors, Dante's phone hummed with a secret life, meetings, money, power. No one expected her to catch on, but she was sharper than he thought. One evening, she's laughing at his terrible pasta attempt when his watch buzzes, fancy, too fancy. He shrugs it off, just a reminder, but Elena's gut says deceptive appearances. She lets it slide, caught up in love without secrets vibes. Here's the deal, trust is tricky when unveiling the truth looms. She didn't know it, but the double life drama was about to hit hard. Ever try ignoring a red flag? It's like pretending the smoke alarm's just singing. Elena wanted to believe Dante's every word, his "I'm just a simple guy" routine. But the clues piled up, a tailored jacket he'd borrowed, a vague story about old friends. Love versus wealth was tugging at her, and unmasking desires wasn't far off. She was in too deep to back out now. Here's a practical move, ask questions. Elena didn't, too scared of ruining the unexpected romance. If she'd pushed, maybe she'd have peeked into his secret life sooner. Instead, she'd curl up next to him, ignoring the buzz of his phone. A love built on lies feels good until it doesn't. The lesson was creeping closer, and she wasn't ready. One night, he's late, first time ever. Shows up with flowers, all charm and apologies, work stuff. Elena buys it, but her mind's spinning. Work stuff? For a guy who claims he's figuring things out. Falling for a stranger is thrilling until the stranger's a puzzle. Emotional betrayal hovered, and she felt it, like a storm on the horizon. By now, their bond was real, tangled in secrets that bind. Dante would hold her hand, whisper sweet nothings, and she'd melt. But the lies? They were stacking up, a house of cards ready to crash. Elena sensed it, something off, something big. Behind closed doors, the truth was clawing its way out, and she was about to face it. Moving right along to Topico 5, a hidden past, as she gets closer, she senses there's more to him than meets the eye. Here's the next piece. Elena was falling, hard, and it was a shock how fast Dante had become her safe place. Late-night chats turned into early mornings, and every moment felt like unexpected romance on steroids. But here's the kicker, the closer she got, the more she felt a hidden billionaire shadow lurking. You won't believe how her heart raced, and not just from love. Something was off, and she couldn't unfeel it. He'd share bits of himself, stories of a scrappy kid chasing dreams, but it was all vague, like a half-written book. Elena Reddington wasn't dumb, she'd catch the way Dante's eyes darted when she asked too much. Deceptive appearances were his game, and she was starting to play detective. What happens next? Her gut was screaming, unveiling the truth, loud and clear. One time, they're at a diner, he's all laughs, flipping a quarter like a kid. Then, a guy in a suit nods at him from across the room. Dante tenses, just for a split second, but Elena clocks it. Behind closed doors, there's a secret life she's not invited to. No one expected her to notice, but she's got a knack for reading people, call it a lesson from life. Ever feel like you're dating a ghost? Elena did. She'd ask about his past, casual stuff, like favorite childhood spots, and he'd pivot, smooth as silk. Oh, nothing special, he'd say, flashing that grin. But secrets that bind don't bend easy. Love versus wealth was whispering, there's more here, girl. She wanted the heartfelt connection, not the mystery. Here's a trick, trust your instincts. Elena's were buzzing like a beehive. She'd notice little things, how he tipped big but acted broke, how he knew wines she'd never heard of. Unmasking desires wasn't just about lust, it was about truth. If she'd pushed, maybe she'd have cracked the double life drama. Instead, she let it simmer, hooked on him. One rainy night, they're cuddled up, and she asks about his family. Dante freezes, first time she's seen him rattled. Complicated, he mutters, then kisses her to dodge it. A love built on lies can't hide forever, and Elena feels it, a hidden billionaire past clawing out. Emotional betrayal wasn't here yet, but it was knocking. She started piecing it together, slow but sure. The fancy watch, the random suits, the way he carried himself, it didn't add up. Dante Rowe was a riddle, and Elena was hooked on solving it. Falling for a stranger is fun until the stranger's got baggage. She didn't know the half of it, but the lesson was coming fast. Next up, Topico 6, the first doubts, she stumbles upon clues that lead her to question his honesty. Let's keep it rolling. Elena's world was spinning with Dante, but not every spin felt like a thrill. The shock came quiet, a receipt fluttering from his jacket, some swanky restaurant she'd never heard of. She didn't mean to snoop, but you won't believe how fast doubt creeps in. Was this the secret life he'd tucked away? What happens next wasn't just romance, it was a reckoning. They'd been solid, walks in the park, her teasing his awful dance moves. But that receipt? It screamed hidden billionaire, and Elena Reddington wasn't one to ignore a gut punch. She'd ask him later, casual like, ever been to La Vienne? He'd laugh, nah, too fancy for me. Deceptive appearances much? Her trust took a hit. One day, she's at his place, first time he'd let her in. It's cozy, sure, but there's a locked drawer, a sleek laptop he shuts quick. No one expected Elena to notice, but she's got eagle eyes. Behind closed doors, the double life drama was humming, and she felt it, like static before a storm. Unveiling the truth was closer than ever. Ever catch someone in a half-lie? It's like tasting sour milk, you can't untaste it. Dante's charm was still there, but Elena's heartfelt connection was fraying. She'd replay his stories, poking holes, wait, didn't you say you hate fancy stuff? He'd shrug, all smooth, but secrets that bind were unraveling. Love versus wealth was messing with her head. Here's a heads up, don't ignore the signs. Elena could have confronted him, maybe should have. Instead, she'd smile, play along, while doubt gnawed at her. Unmasking desires wasn't just about him, it was her craving honesty. Try this, next time your gut's yelling, listen. She didn't, and emotional betrayal was loading up. One night, he's on a call, whispering, pacing. She catches, wire the funds, before he hangs up, all flustered. Work stuff, he says, but Elena's not buying it. A love built on lies stings when the cracks show. She doesn't push, yet, but falling for a stranger was losing its shine. The lesson was loud: truth matters. By now, Elena's mind was a battlefield, love versus logic. Dante Rowe was still her guy, but who was he really? She'd stare at that receipt, that locked drawer, and wonder. Unexpected romance had flipped into something heavier, and she couldn't shake it. Behind closed doors, the real Dante was waiting to be found. Onward to Topic 07, the moment of truth, she confronts him, demanding to know the truth about his life. Here's the next wave. Elena couldn't take it anymore, the shock of doubt was too loud to ignore. It hit her one night, rain pounding the windows, when Dante dodged another question with that damn grin. "Who are you, really?" she snapped, voice shaking. You won't believe how fast the air changed, unveiling the truth had arrived. What happens next? Everything she thought she knew was on the line. She'd been stewing for days, receipts, whispers, that locked drawer piling up like evidence. Elena Reddington wasn't here for games, she wanted love without secrets. "Tell me," she pressed, eyes locked on his. Dante froze, charm cracking under the weight of her stare. No one expected her to call it out, but she'd had enough. He tried to play it off, laughed, even, but Elena wasn't laughing. "Stop lying," she said, softer but firm. The hidden billionaire mask slipped, she saw it in his flinch. Behind closed doors, the double-life drama was spilling out, and she wasn't backing down. This was unmasking desires, hers for honesty, his for control. Ever hit that point where you can't fake it anymore? That was Elena, raw and real. She threw out the clues, restaurant slips, fancy watches, watching him squirm. "I thought we had a heartfelt connection," she said, voice cracking. Deceptive appearances had ruled too long, and secrets that bind were snapping. Dante owed her the truth. Here's a truth bomb, confrontation scary but freeing. Elena could have walked away, but she stood her ground, brave, right? Try it sometime, call out what's fishy, even if it's messy. Love versus wealth was her fight now, and she wasn't losing to lies. Dante's excuses were crumbling, and she smelled emotional betrayal. He paced, hands in his hair, then stopped. "Okay," he muttered, "you deserve this." Elena's heart pounded, was this it? The lesson she'd been chasing? A love built on lies teeters when the truth knocks, and Dante's was about to spill. She braced herself, half expecting falling for a stranger to end right there. The room went quiet, save for the rain. Dante looked at her, really looked, and Elena saw something new, fear, maybe regret. Unexpected romance had led to this cliffhanger, and she wasn't budging. Behind closed doors, his world was about to crack open, and she was ready, or so she thought. Next, Topic 08, a life shattered, his world comes crashing down when she discovers the billionaire side of him. Here it is. Dante's words hit like a shock, a confession Elena never saw coming. "I'm not who you think," he said, voice low, spilling the hidden billionaire truth. Penthouse, private jets, billions, she stood there, jaw dropped, as you won't believe turned real. What happens next? Her cozy little world shattered, and Dante Rowe's secret life was the wrecking ball. He laid it out, how he'd built an empire, hid it behind thrift store vibes. Elena's mind reeled, every simple guy story was deceptive appearances, every dodge a lie. She'd fallen for the act, hook, line, and sinker. No one expected this twist, not her, not even Dante, who thought he'd keep it locked behind closed doors forever. She stormed around his place, tears hot, voice sharp. "You let me think," she started, then stopped, too mad to finish. The double-life drama wasn't cute anymore, it was emotional betrayal in HD. That heartfelt connection she'd clung to felt like a sham now. Dante watched, helpless, as secrets that bind blew up in his face. Ever feel the ground vanish under you? Elena did, her trust, her unexpected romance, gone in a blink. She pictured him at galas, laughing with elites, while she'd been here, blind. Unveiling the truth wasn't freeing, it was a gut punch. Love versus wealth had flipped the script, and she was the fool in the story. Here's a raw tip: when life cracks open, let it. Elena could have bolted, but she stayed, yelling, crying, real stuff. Next time you're blindsided, scream if you need to, it's better than bottling it. Dante's unmasking desires had flipped to hers, truth over comfort, and she wasn't done digging. He tried explaining, gesturing, pleading, but Elena wasn't hearing it. A love built on lies, she spat, pacing. You call that love? Dante's world, fancy suits, big deals, was crashing, and she was the storm. Falling for a stranger had peaked, and the drop was brutal. She grabbed her coat, ready to run. By the time she hit the door, Elena was a mess, anger, hurt, all of it. Dante stood there, stripped bare, no charm left to save him. Behind closed doors, his billionaire shine dulled, and she saw the cost of secrets that bind. The lesson was bitter: truth breaks things before it builds them back. On to Topico 9, the heartbreak of betrayal. Trust is shattered, leaving her feeling lost and hurt. Here's the next one. Elena bolted from Dante's place, the shock still ringing in her ears. She'd trusted him, really trusted him, and now. You won't believe how fast emotional betrayal can shred a heart. The hidden billionaire reveal wasn't a fairy tale, it was a knife. What happens next? She wandered the streets, lost in a secret life she never signed up for. Back home, she replayed it all, every laugh, every "I'm just a guy" lie. Elena Reddington wasn't built for this. She'd wanted love without secrets, not deceptive appearances. Her chest ached, trust shattered like cheap glass. No one expected her to crumble this hard, but Dante's double-life drama had done its damage. She curled up, staring at the ceiling, tears slipping out. The heartfelt connection she'd felt. A mirage. Every memory twisted, his grin, his stories, tainted by secrets that bind. Behind closed doors, he'd played her, and she'd fallen for it. Unveiling the truth left her raw, hollow, and mad as hell. Ever been gutted by someone you swore you knew? Elena was there, drowning in it. She'd see couples laughing outside and think, was that us? Love versus wealth had torn her open, and unmasking desires showed her the cost: pain. Betrayal's a lesson no one asks for, but it sticks. Here's a lifeline: feel it all, then breathe. Elena could have called a friend, should have, maybe, but she sat with it instead. Try this: grab a journal, spill the hurt, it's like draining a wound. She didn't, just hugged her knees, wrestling a love built on lies alone. Dante's ghost lingered, mocking her. Days blurred, coffee cold, phone ignored. She'd see his name pop up, texts, calls, and delete them, fast. Falling for a stranger had crashed, and Elena was the wreckage. She'd mutter, "How'd I miss it?" to no one, stuck in emotional betrayal loops. Unexpected romance felt like a cruel joke now. By week's end, she was numb but stirring. Dante Rowe had broken her, sure, but she wasn't done, not yet. Behind closed doors, he was probably reeling too, but Elena didn't care. The lesson sank in: trust's fragile, and she'd guard it next time. Still, a tiny "why" whispered in her head. Next, Topico 10, his side of the story. He reveals his reasons for keeping his life a secret. Here we go. Dante didn't chase her that night, knew better, but the shock of losing Elena hit him like a freight train. A week later, he showed up, soaked from rain, begging to talk. You won't believe what he said: "I hid it to protect you." The hidden billionaire spilled his guts, and what happens next? Elena listened, arms crossed, skeptical as hell. He started slow, grew up poor, clawed his way up, built a fortune. Dante Rowe wasn't proud, he was scared. People change when they know, he said, eyes on the floor. Deceptive appearances were his shield, not a game. No one expected this vulnerability, but Elena wasn't thawing, not yet. He painted it raw, friends turned leeches, love turned transactions. I wanted you real, he said, voice cracking. Behind closed doors, his secret life was a cage, not a crown. Secrets that bind kept him lonely, and Elena? She'd been his shot at love without secrets. Too late for that now. Ever hide who you are to feel safe? Dante had, big time. He'd ditched the suits, the swagger, for her, thinking unexpected romance could rewrite his rules. Love versus wealth had burned him before, and he'd sworn no repeats. Unveiling the truth was his gamble, and he'd lost, hard. Here's a twist, fear's a liar too. Dante could have trusted Elena, should've, but he didn't. Next time you're scared to show your cards, think, what's the cost? He learned the lesson when emotional betrayal flipped the script. She stared, quiet, as unmasking desires shifted to his side. He kept going, how he'd cringe at her rich guy jokes, how he'd rehearsed normal. I didn't want you to see a dollar sign, he said. A love built on lies wasn't his plan, it just happened. Falling for a stranger had flipped, he was the stranger now, begging her to see him. Elena didn't budge, but she heard him, every word. Dante's double-life drama wasn't an excuse, just a reason, and it stung. Behind closed doors, he'd been a king and a coward. The heartfelt connection lingered, faint but there, and she wondered, could he fix this? On to Topico 11, a fight for redemption. He must prove that his love for her is real, despite the lies. Here's the next piece. Dante wasn't giving up, not after that shock of a confession. He started small, leaving notes at Elena's door, handwritten, messy, real. I messed up, one said, but you're worth it. You won't believe how hard he fought to prove love without secrets wasn't dead. What happens next? Elena's walls stayed up, but cracks were forming. He showed up where she couldn't ignore him, her cafe, her park, never pushy, just there. Flowers one day, her favorite book the next, all with a quiet, I'm trying. Dante Rowe was shedding the hidden billionaire skin, chasing a heartfelt connection. No one expected this grit, but he was all in. One night, he cooked for her, burnt the chicken, laughed it off. See? No chef on speed dial, he joked, poking at his secret life. Elena smirked, first time in weeks, and felt unexpected romance flicker. Behind closed doors, he was dismantling the double-life drama, piece by piece, for her. Ever fight to win someone back? It's raw, humbling, Dante learned fast. He'd call, leave voicemails, I'm not that guy anymore. Deceptive appearances were gone, this was unveiling the truth, take two. Love versus wealth wasn't the battle, she was. Secrets that bind had to break, and he'd make it happen. Here's a move, show, don't tell. Dante didn't just say, I love you, he lived it. Dropped a gala to fix her sink, swapped jets for her couch. Elena saw it, felt it, and unmasking desires flipped, he wanted her, not power. Next time you're proving something, do it loud, actions scream. She tested him, asked about his world, no filters. He answered, money, mistakes, all of it, voice steady. A love built on lies was crumbling, rebuilt with falling for a stranger vibes, but real this time. Emotional betrayal lingered, but Dante's fight was chipping it away. Elena softened, just a bit. By now, he was a regular in her orbit, no flash, just him. One day, he said, I'd trade it all for us, and she believed him, almost. Behind closed doors, the lesson was clear, love's worth the mess. Dante was proving it, and Elena was watching, waiting, feeling. Next, Topico 12, the power of vulnerability. As they share their pasts, they find a deeper connection. Here it comes. Elena didn't expect the shock of Dante opening up, really opening up. One night, over cheap wine, he spilled it, the scrappy kid, the ruthless climb, the loneliness at the top. You won't believe how raw he got, tears and all. What happens next? She shared too, her fears, her flops, and love without secrets started breathing again. He talked about his dad leaving, how he'd vowed to never need anyone. Dante Rowe wasn't just a hidden billionaire, he was a guy who'd built walls sky high. Elena listened, quiet, seeing past deceptive appearances. No one expected this depth, but it hit her, vulnerability's a heartfelt connection glue. She went next, her mom's death, the job she'd lost chasing dreams. I'm a mess too, she laughed, half crying. Dante didn't flinch, just held her hand. Behind closed doors, the secret life faded, this was real. Secrets that bind turned into threads pulling them closer, not apart. Ever bare your soul and feel lighter? That's where they landed. Elena saw Dante, the real one, and he saw her. Unveiling the truth wasn't a wrecking ball anymore, it was a bridge. Love versus wealth took a back seat to unmasking desires, they wanted this, flaws and all. Here's gold, share your scars. Elena could have clammed up, safer that way, but she didn't. Try it, tell someone your messy truth, it's like unlocking a door. Dante did, and a love built on lies flipped to something sturdier. Falling for a stranger felt like unexpected romance reborn. They laughed about it later, how he'd feared her pity, how she'd feared his judgment. We're idiots, she said, and he nodded, grinning. Double life drama was old news, this was emotional betrayal healing. Dante's past wasn't a shield now, it was a story, and Elena was in it. By dawn, they were still talking, voices soft, guards down. Behind closed doors, the lesson shone, truth builds, lies break. Elena felt it, a tie deeper than before, and Dante did too. The heartfelt connection was back, stronger, and they weren't letting go easy. On to Topico 13, rebuilding trust. Can love survive when trust has been broken? Here's the next one. Elena wanted to believe in Dante again, but the shock of his lies still echoed. They were talking, sharing, but trust. That was a climb. He'd leave coffee at her door, text, good morning, small stuff, steady stuff. You won't believe how patient he got, but what happens next? She had to decide if love without secrets could rise from the ashes. He owned it, every dodge, every half-truth. I'll earn it back, Dante Rose said, eyes locked on hers. Elena saw the hidden billionaire fade, replaced by a guy who'd screwed up and knew it. No one expected her to waver, but deceptive appearances had left scars. She wasn't sure yet. They'd sit, quiet sometimes, testing the air. He'd ask about her day, listen like it mattered, and it did. Behind closed doors, the secret life was gone, he was here, present. Secrets that bind had snapped, but trust. That's a heartfelt connection you rebuild brick by brick. Ever try trusting after a fall? It's like learning to walk again, shaky but possible. Elena felt it, unveiling the truth had hurt, but it also cleared the fog. Love versus wealth wasn't the fight, unmasking desires was, and Dante was showing up. She'd test him, watch him, wait. Here's a hack, consistency heals. Dante didn't just talk, he did, fixed her shelf, showed up on time. Try it, if you're rebuilding, show up, every day. Elena noticed, and a love built on lies started shifting. Falling for a stranger was old news, she knew him now, maybe too well. One night, she let him stay late, first time since the blowout. He didn't push, just sat close, and she didn't pull away. Emotional betrayal lingered, but unexpected romance was creeping back. Dante's steady hand was chipping at her walls, and Elena felt the lesson, trust takes time. By now, they were fragile but growing. She'd catch herself smiling at his texts, softening at his laugh. Behind closed doors, Dante was proving it, love could outlast lies. Elena wasn't all in, not yet, but the double-life drama was fading, and something new was stirring. Next, Topico 14, an unexpected decision. She must choose between the life she thought she wanted and the love he offers. Here it is. Elena hit a crossroads, and the shock of it kept her up nights. She'd always pictured her life, steady job, cozy apartment, no chaos. Now Dante was offering messy, real love, and you won't believe how torn she felt. What happens next? The hidden billionaire wasn't the issue, it was her heart versus her head. She'd built a safe world, brick by careful brick. Dante Rowe crashed in, lies, sure, but also love without secrets now. He'd say, I'm here, all of me, and mean it. No one expected Elena to waver, she'd been so sure, but deceptive appearances had flipped her script. One day, she's at her desk, staring at a job offer, stable, predictable. Then Dante texts, meet me. She goes, and he's there, no flash, just him. Behind closed doors, the secret life was dust, this was raw. Secrets that bind weren't the choice, love versus wealth was, and it hit hard. Ever face a fork in the road? Elena did, and it sucked. Option A, her old plan, safe but solo. Option B, Dante, risky but alive. Unveiling the truth showed her both, and unmasking desires screamed, what do you want? She'd always picked safety, until him. Here's a nudge, when you're stuck, flip a coin, not for the answer, but for how you feel when it lands. Elena didn't, just sat with it, weighing a love built on lies against what it could be. Dante waited, steady, and falling for a stranger felt like unexpected romance calling her name. She pictured it, leaving her bubble, diving into his world. Scary? Hell yes. But his laugh, his fight for her, it stuck. Emotional betrayal had bruised her, but heartfelt connection was healing it. Behind closed doors, Dante offered a life she hadn't planned, and she was leaning. By dusk, Elena's pacing, muttering to herself. Dante's not pushing, just there, like always. The lesson hits, love's not a checklist. Double life drama was done, this was real. She didn't know her answer, but something was shifting, big time. On to Topico 15, the moment she realizes, true love transcends wealth and secrets. Here's the next one. Elena woke up one morning, and, bam, the shock of clarity hit her. She'd been wrestling love versus wealth, but it wasn't about that. Dante's money, his lies. Noise. You won't believe how simple it got, she loved him, mess and all. What happens next? She saw past the hidden billionaire to the guy underneath. They'd spent the night talking, no grand gestures, just them. Dante Rowe laughed about burning toast, and Elena felt it, love without secrets, real as daylight. No one expected her to let go so fast, but deceptive appearances didn't matter anymore. This was her guy, period. She remembered his confession, his fight, how he'd stripped behind closed doors bare for her. Wealth? Secrets? They'd shaped him, sure, but they weren't him. Secrets that bind had lost their grip, unveiling the truth showed her a heartfelt connection that trumped it all. Ever have an aha moment that flips everything? Elena did, and it was gold. Love wasn't the penthouse or the lies, it was Dante showing up, flaws out. Unmasking desires wasn't about power, it was about them. She'd been blind, chasing the wrong fight. Here's a gem, love's not a balance sheet. Elena could have tallied Dante's sins, a love built on lies, emotional betrayal, but why? Next time you're overthinking, ask, does it feel true? She did, and falling for a stranger turned into unexpected romance she'd die for. She looked at him that morning, sprawled on her couch, and grinned. You're a disaster, she said, and he laughed, your disaster. Double life drama was a ghost, this was real. The lesson sank in, love's bigger than the baggage. Elena got it, finally. By noon, they're joking, planning nothing fancy, just a day. Behind closed doors, the past lingered, but it didn't rule. Elena knew now, secrets that bind break when you choose the heart. Dante was hers, and she wasn't letting go, not this time. Final stretch, Topico 16, a new beginning, they find a way to build a future together, embracing both truth and love. Here it is. Elena didn't see the shock of peace coming, but there it was, they were okay. After all the chaos, she and Dante started small, coffee runs, lazy Sundays, no masks. You won't believe how good it felt to just be. What happens next? They built something new, no hidden billionaire games in sight. He ditched the secrets, showed her his world, the real one. Dante Rowe took her to his office, laughed when she mocked his desk. No more lies, he said, and Elena believed him. Love without secrets wasn't a dream now, it was them. No one expected this calm, but here they were. They'd planned stuff, trips, dinners, nothing flashy, just real. Behind closed doors, the secret life was history, they were writing a fresh page. Secrets that bind turned into promises, honest ones. Elena felt the heartfelt connection deepen, steady as a heartbeat. Ever start over and feel alive? Elena did, and Dante too. They'd tease each other, her about his money, him about her stubbornness, and laugh. Deceptive appearances were old news, unveiling the truth had set them free. Love versus wealth faded, love won, hands down. Here's a spark, build on what's true. Elena and Dante didn't need grand plans, just trust. Try it, pick one real thing with someone, grow it. A love built on lies was their lesson, but falling for a stranger turned into forever. They were solid now. One night, they're on her roof, stars out, and he says, "We made it." She nods, grinning, unexpected romance had landed. Unmasking desires showed them what mattered, each other. Emotional betrayal was a scar, not a chain. They were in this, all the way. By now, they're a team, no drama, just them. Behind closed doors, Dante's world blended with hers, and it fit. Elena knew the double life drama was done, they'd chosen truth, love, the works. The future? Wide open, and they were ready. And there you have it, Elena and Dante's wild ride from a coffee-spilled shock to a love that outlasted secrets and lies. What a journey, huh? They fought through emotional betrayal, unraveled the hidden billionaire chaos, and found a heartfelt connection worth betting on. Behind closed doors, they proved love without secrets can rise from the ashes of deceptive appearances. So, what hit you hardest? Drop a like if you're all about that unexpected romance, and share your favorite twist in the comments. Did you see the double life drama coming, or were you as floored as Elena? Tell us, were you rooting for a different ending, or did this one steal your heart? Hit that follow button too, next video's coming, and you won't want to miss what happens next.